Modified, and it might save a little bit of weight, but traction is suffering there, I would say.
I'd agree with that, and there's traction issues for the Donut King GTR. Now we're getting report safety car. This is why the Class D leading car has found contact with the wall very hard at the top of Mount Panorama. That's the Dean Heritage Subaru. That is a big, big crash. John O'Dowd and Angus Kennard sharing the duties. Heritage in pit lane, so it's one of the two co-drivers, and that has brought out the safety car. Now, this is the drama for the GWS BMW. What a strange thing to happen.
How very bizarre. I'm not sure I've seen anything like that. His 24 teammate has just pulled it in front of us. The tyre is rolling down. No, that is the wheel. The wheel has gone in its entirety, and that was not contact with the wall. That was the wheel making its bid for freedom. Sadly, not getting a better lap time, but even so.
Race restart, green flag. We'll find out what's going on with the number one Audi. It's been in pit lane for a long time. We'll send one of our team down there to find out what's going on at Phoenix Racing, the team that won this race last year. We are back underway at Mount Panorama, and it is very, very busy. The Durrell Lee safety car pulls in to pit lane, and this field sorts themselves out. So, to reiterate, Bernd Schneider leads the race by 4 seconds over Tim Slade, with Mok Wen Sung in the Clearwater Ferrari 14 seconds down the road. They're the three cars on the lead lap.
And Mok Wen Sung has done a little over 2.25 hours.
Well, he's now done
he's
now done 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
His minimum time is 3 hours, so he's going to have to stay out for another 40 minutes, which is going to be the rest of this tank full of fuel, I reckon. Or he has to do a third stint later on in the race. He's already done one stint. So we'll have to see what the progress is on that car. Back to green flag racing, and we do now have the situation, which is one that we've had before, but not for a long time, of the Mercedes 1-2, with Schneider in the lead of the race with Tim Slade behind him, but only a third car. That was the Ferrari, the Clearwater Racing Ferrari, is the only other car on the lead lap. We go back 1 lap to the VIP Pet Foods Porsche, which now has Clark Quinn behind the wheel of it, and that is a lap behind. 3 laps behind that is then the number 9 Audi that was assaulted by the Ferrari earlier on. I think the next thing we need is another nice green portion of the race, I just need to kind of feel confident somehow that Mok Wen Sung can calm down enough, because you were saying earlier on, you know, he's there or thereabouts in terms of his lap times, but I think he's just had a little bit of either the heat's getting to him, or he's feeling the pressure, because as I was saying just before the break, there's somebody off there at a very
That's not just somebody.
Square Audi, that's Craig Lowndes.
Almost the same place he went off. It's a little bit further back up the mountain, isn't it? Back towards the dipper.
Just by the dipper, that.
Yeah. And he's facing the wrong direction, and I don't think he's. Do you know what? I think he might have got away with that. Rich, he might not have hit anything there. That might just be a lazy spin coming over the top. Maybe he had to check up with somebody there in front of him, right at the apex of the
safety
dipper.
car.
Do you think?
So another safety car, So they've gone yellow, because it's almost impossible to do a U-turn there. Not just because of the narrowness of the track or the steepness, but just how blind it is. To do one safely there is almost impossible.
Dramas for Craig Lowndes at the top of the mountain. Not so for Peter Conroy Motorsport. Summer is with James Winslow.
James, yes, he joins me now. Just out the car 10 minutes ago. You're pretty exhausted. You got hand cramps. Tell us about the body.
Oh, I'm pretty exhausted. I think I did 2.5 hours out there, midway through the race, so the hottest part of the day. Cool suit stopped working, radio stopped working, absolutely dehydrated, but the good thing is we're inside the top 8, car's running like a dream, the handling of the car is fantastic, the Michelin tyre is doing a really good job. Only issue we have is that the engine's getting slightly warm, and the car goes into a limp mode. So if we get over 115 degrees on water temperature, we go into limp mode, and that costs us maybe 3 or 4 seconds a lap. Once it drops back down below the 115, limp mode stops, and then we're on our way again, trying to keep the engine cool.
Rob Huff's out there now, 10th position. You're looking good. How will he be feeling?
I think he'll be feeling pretty good for now, because the handling's good. Hopefully we can get that temperature under control. But Rob's a professional, he's a world champion. I'm sure he can cope with it, and we're the race is going to plan at the moment.
A car to watch in the second half of this race. Double release safety car pulling in. Merckx leading the Porsche. Back to the restart, the Liqui 12 hour.
Now, the car to watch here, I think, is the VIP Pet Foods Porsche, because they are trying, like we've seen so far today, to get themselves back onto the lead lap. I fear those two, well, for the VIP team, I fear that those two Mercedes in front are going to be too strong, but they're driving away up the road, 2 tenths between the two leaders, and then we wait for Mok Wen-sung to come through in the Clearwater Racing Ferrari and get a gap on where they are. So, Jaeger, Slade, Mok Wen-sung, Clark Quinn behind the wheel of 5, Primat behind the wheel of number 1, so 169 laps to them, and so they've dropped 4 laps behind the leader, which is a real shame because they had done an outstanding job all morning to keep themselves on the lead lap and well and truly in the fight. And then Alan Lee is behind the wheel of the 23 United Autosport car, just in behind Christopher Meese in the number 9 Audi R8 LMS. But United Autosports, for me, what a fantastic quiet achievement they've done today to creep their way up the autoboard, given last year they didn't make it past the 4 or 5 hour mark of this race.
Paul Haig, who's running that team at the moment, as I said before, is a real stalwart of all forms of motor racing. He's loving this endurance racing that he's doing now with what is clearly a very sophisticated car, the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. Super quick, and we've perhaps not seen the best of it here, and I think maybe still a little bit of refinement required on this new version of the car that they've brought to the mountain this year.
But we do have an interesting battle in prospect for the remainder of the race, John, between the 3 Audis that yeah, they are 4 laps behind, but there's 3 of them all on the same lap, isn't there? Because there's the number 1, the recovering Phoenix car, the number 9 Network Clothing Hallmark car, the red and black one, and the United Autosports car, number 23. And they're kind of battling to be best Audi, as it were. They're in 5th, 6th and 7th places, but they're separated by nothing at all behind the safety car, or recovering from now the safety car having withdrawn. Meanwhile, at the front of the race, John, great battle going on between the 2 Mercedes.
Now, earlier, of course, we had that issue with these 2 guys because one car was holding up the other car and everyone was catching them up, and something had to be done about that. You get the feeling now that this is formation flying, Rich, and these guys, if there is a pass to be made, will do it in their own time and at their own pace, because, look, they've got clear road all the way up the whole length of Mountain Straight up towards the first right-hander Griffin Bend as they go through that there. It's just great over the top of the camber, stay off the curb on driver's left, and now heading up the cutting. I love this part of the track.
It has been a day of high drama, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Today has been very much the story. The Seats have been in a world of pain. And this was up at Falcon Tyres elbow, the AF Corsa Ferrari, just in the background of the shot. This is the Clearwater number 33. So into pit lane they go, and they've visited there a couple of times. Another high speed off across the chase, and that's by a car that now must be considered one of the favourites for Class D, the performance production car class, because the Sharon BMW and the Subaru well and truly out of the race, as we have just seen. Debris falling off. All the BMWs coming out through the S's, the exit of the dipper. In fact, it's a fairly large piece of debris. It's called a wheel and a tyre, and it rolled all the way down about a kilometre of racetrack and went to find its friends just down there at Falcon Tyres elbow. Realised it probably wouldn't find a happy home there as a tyre bundle, and continued to roll happily down Conrod Straight. And if that doesn't give you an indication of how steep this place is, nothing will. Now, this was a key incident down at Maguire's turn, wing right down the inside and cannon into the number 9 Audi, and lucky to escape from any further damage than that.
Ferrari remains a contender in the Liqui Bathurst 12 hours. We bring our Michelin leaderboard to you. The 2 Mercedes looking imperious out in front, but you never count that Porsche out, still looking strong. There's the Clearwater Ferrari in 4th, with the United Autosports Audi going very nicely in P5. There's the class leaderboards as we work our way through hour 8 of the Liqui 12 hour. Lotus, BMW, Holden, Seat, and Holden in Invitational 3, still looking strong. thanks there to Maguire's. We're going to take a break at the moment. Erebus Motorsport looking strong for the Liquimoli Bathurst 12 Hour of 2013. Welcome back to Bathurst. Plenty going on in pit lane. The number 12 car.
David Calvert-Jones he's from America. He's originally from Australia. He's got an amazing job being a professional helicopter pilot for video shoots and filming. And in comes Clearwater Racing. So that's what strategy A we were talking about, right on the driver limit.
I reckon that's 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Kerr and then... Can we just say Kerr and indeed Ching for that one? Let's head down to the pit. Stephen Johnson is with Grant.
Yeah, and have a look at this, a brand new set of Michelin tyres, and not just one, Stephen, you've got two.